sometimes. Like that's the whole basis and premise of what we're trying to get to, right? But I think of a couple of things when I think about gratitude. I think about totality and I think about process, right? Because like we both know things are going to happen, things are going to go our way, things are not going to go our way. And more times than not, as a person, it's very easy and simplistic to be grateful for things that go our way. No problem with it, right? Easy. We get the money, we get the food on the table, we get what we want, get a roof over our head. It's very easy to be grateful when things play in our favor.
I know you're getting about to get
in. No, do that.
When things happen that we wanted to happen, when we get the desired outcome, right? Are we really being grateful?
Right. Because it's not really pressing gratitude.
Right. Like I'm leaning towards, I don't know if that's gratitude too. Because gratitude is not necessarily saying thank you. Right? I think when you get what you want and your response being thank you, we associate that with gratitude. I don't think we're saying that that's gratitude. I think we're talking about gratitude as a principle. A principle is not tied to any type of outcome. Right? I am going to press to be a good person for being a good person's sake. Right? Not, I'm going to be a good person because I know this is going to get me to heaven. Mm-hmm. Somewhere in my spirit, it just gets disturbed when, well, I'm not going to do this because the Bible told me, or the Bible said, or somebody said, this, that, and the other. So you're doing it like you're trying to manipulate the process. Absolutely. It's manipulation. That, to me, that's pure manipulation. And so the thing that you want, the thing that you desire, you have the power to create it. Yeah. Not necessarily the power to manipulate a situation to get your desired outcome. That's good. Right? Because if it's your desired outcome, it's still going to be limited. Yeah. The gratitude is in whatever God has for me, whatever the universe has for me, is always bigger, always better, always larger than any figment of my imagination or even the totality of my imagination. Right? So gratitude is not necessarily a means or a thing that we do in order to, or because something has happened. No, it is a way of life. Gratitude is a principle.
Yeah. It's I remember the first time I read James chapter 1, and it said, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, because the testing of your faith goes on to produce perseverance. And perseverance must finish its race, so that you may be complete and lacking nothing." It broke it down and told you why you needed to be grateful and thankful.
So that you may be complete and lacking nothing.
For the opposition.
It's bigger, always better, always larger than any figment of my imagination or even the totality of my imagination. Right? So gratitude is not necessarily a means or a thing that we do in order to, or because something has happened. No, it is a way of life. Gratitude is a principle.
Yeah. It's I remember the first time I read James chapter 1, and it said, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, because the testing of your faith goes on to produce perseverance. And perseverance must finish its race, so that you may be complete and lacking nothing." It broke it down and told you why you needed to be grateful and thankful for the opposition, the adversity, the trial, and the tribulation, right? Because it produces a level of perseverance, right? Now, when you think gratitude, oftentimes we're grateful. Like you said, things go our way, yeah, cool, right? But the true press of gratitude, to me, is King's quote. "Judge true character and caliber of a person, not by where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. Judge true character and caliber of a person by where they stand in times of trial and opposition, challenge, controversy," right? Can you be grateful when it doesn't come to you in the form of which you expected? Yeah. Growth comes in many forms, right? Just in the form of which you didn't expect, can you still be grateful for it? Because you can still get or become the person that you're aspiring to become, even when it doesn't come to you in the form of what you expected. growth happens in many forms, right? Blessings happen in many forms through many people, right? It happens in many forms. Can we be grateful when it doesn't come in the form of which we expect, right? That's the true press of gratitude to me. Every single day being grateful if my happiness shows up in a different form of which I expect. Being grateful if my joy shows up in a different form from which I expected. Being grateful if my peace shows up in a different form from which I expected. My wife hit me up. We went to one of Jada's first lacrosse games, right? And we laughing our eyes out at little Jada, right? Jada ain't never played lacrosse a day in her life. Is out there having a ball. She over there. She, Daddy, bang my eye black. I'm bang my eye black. I'm talking about she suited and booted, ready. Ultimate teammate, right? We laughing our eyes out. She playing the game, you know, she do a thing, they win the game. And we get back home that night, we getting the kids ready. And my wife shot me a text and she was like, I really, really thoroughly enjoyed today. Like today was really fun. Mm-hmm. Like, thank you for that, right? Now to me, I'm like, we just up there cutting the food, laughing at the little game, right? But to my wife, like that moment was special for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? And I was grateful for that because it was joy and happiness that showed up in a form of which I didn't expect, right? And so being grateful when things show up in a form of which we don't expect.
I got a question. I had a thought as we were talking about gratitude. What if you were told that you can do all of the things from a religious standpoint? Be the best person, you can have gratitude, you can love everybody, you can all of those, you know, you can follow the 10 commandments. Mm-hmm. That doesn't guarantee you heaven, but you still be committed to.
I will personally because of one, the person that it has the potential to turn me into.
Yes.
Right? Like I always look at things, when I look at a goal, a dream, an aspiration, a process, whatever it is that I think could make me better, I always look at it through the lens of, all right, if I go on this journey, this pursuit, this quest, what is it going to turn me into? Mm-hmm. Right? Like I got offered recently a PhD program, right? Somebody told me, hey man, we get you up here, get you in a PhD program for sports psychology. Great, this is some of the requirements, this, that, and the third. First thought, I'm like, man, I would love to do that, right? Yeah. And then I had to be like, all right, pause, let me take a little time, get back home, talk it over, because I need to see what are the requirements going to turn me into. 2 kids that are very busy, got a wife, I got my schedule. Yeah. Like, what will it turn me into? And so I think personally, I would still go after him because of the process and what I think the 10 commandments and some of these things could turn me into, the potential of what it could turn me into. And I think if I was more so focused on following them because I feel like it could get me into heaven, I think it contradicts the process and the purpose of what I'm trying to do.
Yes. And I think that kind of gets to the rat killing of the matter of us being our best self. Right. Am I being my best self for what is going to yield me outside of myself, or am I being my best self because it's going to yield me an internal fulfillment? That is part of what, from my standpoint, and what I like to teach, or I like to speak about, whatever, is that's you creating the heaven. Yeah, you're creating your heaven, right? Yeah. Not necessarily a place that you get to. It's what you create within yourself. That we were given the power to create the things that we ultimately desire. Mm-hmm. Right? Not necessarily we are given the power to create the things that human earthly experience, societal experiences teaches us are that we should aspire to. Because again, you know how many, of course you know, how many like people who don't have to worry about a light bill, don't have to worry about anything, who can tomorrow get up and go on vacation, right? And how miserable they are, right? You know, and you know how many people who are struggling with paying their light bill and how miserable they are. So misery, if you will, supersedes and it's interwoven into whatever and wherever you are in social economic status. You know how many people who go on vacation tomorrow and got joy on the trip? Yeah. And do you know how many people who don't know how they're going to pay their bills tomorrow have joy uncontrollable? Right? So those things are internally created, not necessarily externally. I love it, man. I love it because I often think reflect back to the line. I mentioned it once before, but I think it was brilliant by Kanye when he mentioned it. And he said, you ride by a homeless man in a Maybach and you ask the question, who's more free? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you see a cat ride by a homeless man in the Maybach and you ask the question, who's more free? Like, man, that's strong, man. Right. It is. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's power on another level when you think about it, right? Because he's not saying that one over the other is not free. He's saying that cat can be in a Maybach and be tied to material possessions, material be enslaved to it, right? Cat can be on the side of the curb, spirit, free as a bird. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Here for glory.
So, fellas, first off, man, I want to let you all know it's an honor and a privilege, to be before you all. I got great respect and admiration for what you all are a part of in your journey. I want to thank Duke, man. Thank you so much for thinking enough of me and providing me with this opportunity and the whole organization. I want to thank Rob, and Rob was like a brother to me. He was in my wedding. He's my roommate in college. I remember when his car used to get declined. All that, couldn't pay his rent, all that, right? So that's my guy. But the reason I showed that clip, there was one line in there that hit me and it stuck. And the one line was like the dude that came to see him on the horse. Like, I don't know if y'all remember the movie, but he was riding with him. Like, he was riding with him at every single battle. Like, there was a point in every single battle when it got tough. And Leonidas with his 300, when it got a little tough, he would call on the Arcadians, and they'll come from between the rocks. They'll come out with their crew, and they'll wipe out whoever they was going against, and they'll handle it, right? And so at a certain point, my man saw up on the hill, he saw a little humpback dude, and he saw some more soldiers, more than they had ever saw. And so he came to him, and he was riding with him at every single battle, but he came to him when he saw more than he had ever saw. And he said to him, it's over. And he said, we must surrender. And I don't know if you saw the movie, but every time somebody said something to him, like they wanted to make him king. They told him they'll give him everything he was fighting for. They came to him at one point, they came to the United States, they said, we'll give you everything you want. Like, you fighting for your land, you can have your land. You want water, like you can have your water. Everything you fighting for, we'll give it to you, and we'll make you king. You'll reign supreme over everything, and everybody got to report to you. They told him that, but they said one word, and when they said the one word, every time they said the one word, he'll walk off and he'll shake his head. And the one word that they said was submit. Every time they mentioned submission, it was like he just went into another mode, and he wasn't trying to hear him. So when my man came to him on the voice, he said, we got to submit. When he said we got to submit, you saw his eyes got big, and he transformed into something else. He went to him, and the thing that stuck to me, dude, he told him, every man must search his own soul. And he said, why you at it? Like, you've been battling with me, you've been going with me, but when the adversity and the opposition and the challenge got tougher, you said, you got to go. Like, we dead, so while you at it, you search your own soul, and you run off, you tell everybody, we going to stand, we going to live, we going to die by what we stand for, and everybody going to know what we represent and what we're a part of. Because we said, at a certain point, we said we was going to live and we going to die by it. And the thing I love about sports and the thing I love about life, whatever you want, you got to be willing to accept whatever comes with it. Like, it's like a cat in the street. If you want to be a gangster, you can't be a gangster until you meet a gangster. Like, you can't be a warrior until you meet a warrior. You say, no, I don't want to be a warrior no more. Like, you got to be willing to accept whatever comes with it. And he's talking about running 15 meetings, and I was talking to Rob in the car, and I said, man, the dangerous thing about having talent, like when you're in the league, everybody can run fast, jump high, hit cats. Everybody can cut it and slice it however you want to cut it and slice it. Everybody can play ball, right? But the thing about it, I told Rob, you got to be careful when you got talent, because sooner or later, if you're not careful, you can become a victim of your own talent. And when you become a victim of your own talent, you don't value the small things anymore. And at a certain point in the early years, the small things were the foundation. And it's the thing that got you to the point that you are at now. But now we don't value it because we feel as if we've gotten to a certain point. Like, adversity is adversity. Opposition is opposition. Challenges are challenges. But it's not so much about the opposition and the adversity that we face as it is about the perspective that we have about the opposition and the adversity that we face. Meaning perspective drives performance every day of the week. How you view what you do will always affect how you do what you do. Like I love 300 just because when they said retreat, my man, like we ain't going nowhere.
No retreat.
You came to me, you disrespected my wife, you disrespected, like he could have quit, he could have stopped fighting for it. But the purpose for what he was fighting for was greater than any individual, and so he went to war. The purpose, meaning the thing of what he was fighting for was greater than any individual, was greater than any 300. And when he died, I'll never forget, one of the soldiers laid down, he said, man, it was an honor to die by you. It was an honor to die by you, and he told me it was an honor to live by you. Like, you know the reason he said I was one of the most important people in his life? It wasn't that I could run fast. I played corner. I wasn't the biggest, the fastest, the strongest. But he knew every time we stepped out in between them lines, I was willing to die for it, Luke. I almost lost my life for it. Like it ain't just words. Like I made a tackle against Air Force in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left in the game. They carried me off on the stretcher. We got to the emergency room. They ran some tests, and the doctor came into the room, and he said, everybody rush out. We got to rush this kid back to emergency surgery. He's about to die. And I'm looking at him like, die? Like, man, he can't use another word. Like, he was just sitting there like, die. And he's like, yeah, you ruptured an artery in your chest. You're bleeding internally. Got to rush you back, take the main vein out of your left leg, plug it into your chest in order to save your life. Next morning, I woke up. I love the game of football. I've been playing it since I was 7. But the next morning, I woke up. My arm was paralyzed. Been paralyzed for the past 12 years. Got cut 6 times down my left thigh. 1 time across the left side of my neck. 1 time across the right side. Twice through my right ribs. Cut out my right pec, bottom of my armpit to the bottom of my hand. With 350 staples in my body, they bandaged me from my neck to my knee. Ain't lip service. They told me to go home. Something terrible happened to you. Go home. Go back to Atlanta. Take a break. Take some time off. You got injured. Take time off for what? Go home for what? I'm going to go to practice on Wednesday, even though I can't compete. I'm going to go to practice until I can't compete. Even though my career is over, I'm going to get a gun joy sling and I'm going to be in a sand pit with my teammates and my line loop stop. I'm going to run every hill with my teammates. I'm going to run around the block with my teammates. Even though I can't play, but I made a vow to something that was a lot greater than me. And so what I made a vow to was more important than any stat. For me, what trumps everything is character and integrity. What trumps everything is when a cat is rocking with me, he know at a certain point, I'm not retreating. If I'm with him and I say I'm going home, we going home. And whatever got to happen on the way to get home, if we got to wipe some cats out on the way to get home, like you got 2 types of cats in the world. You got a cat that's talented until they get hot in the kitchen. Then you got a cat that's just all out with it. You got certain cats, they with it until they get hot. They don't want them cats in the first quarter. They tapping their helmet like, coach, I need to come out and something. Then you got cats that say, this is why I play the game. This is what I signed up for. Like, what we doing? Like, all that other stuff is cool. But when they get hot and it's 4th and goal, like, and nobody wants it, I want it. Like, you got cats that's cut like that. Like, it's a crazy thing. I was reading a story about Navy SEALs. They was talking about the training that they go through. They was talking about Hell Week. And they say Hell Week is literally designed just to break them, send them through hell. Like you want to be a warrior, you want to be a SEAL, toughest of the tough, baddest of the bad. We gonna see how bad you want to be a SEAL. And the way they gauged it was they let them push themselves and see if they was willing to die for it. And so when cats would pass out and almost die, they would wake them up, and the cats would wake up and they'd be like, I'm ready. And they would slap them and say, no, you good. You put your life on the line, you good. And when they got into Hell Week, the crazy thing was, like they had units in this particular book, and the units that they had, James, right? They started to trace it back in the units because some cats that made it through Hell Week the year prior, they didn't make it the next year, right? It's just like the league. Some cats, they gonna make it this year. Next year, they gonna be nowhere to be found because they don't have that same bite. Not that they don't have enough talent, they don't have that same bite. Whether they got bread, whatever the case may be, whether they got a whip, a house, whatever the case, they don't have that same bite, right? And so when they started tracing it, the craziest thing was they found out the cats that surrender, everybody they train with surrender. They know it's the cats that quit and said, I thought this was what I wanted to do. They traced it back to their group. Everybody they trained with quit and said, this is what I thought I wanted. If I got to go through that, I don't want it so bad anymore. Then they got to the cats that made it, and it wasn't like they put them in a separate environment. They put them through the same training. It's like off season. Everybody go through the same off season. It's like the cats go in the weight room. Everybody go to the same weight room, but everybody don't come out the same way. It's like when cats on the team, everybody get the same schedule, but everybody don't go about their schedule in their business the same way. It wasn't like they put one set of cats in this water, another set of cats in that water. We put them all through these rope drills. No, everybody went through the same drills. And the cats that made it and beat it, they said, man, listen, we already know what time it is. We know they finna try to break us. We already know they think we did it. We already know that. We know they coming at us. We know they gonna throw everything they got at us. So here's how we gonna beat it. Cat just said, I'm gonna look at you. Cat said, we get in the water, we get in the midst of adversity, it start getting a little tough, the pain starts to set in. I'm just gonna look at you and you look at me, and I don't have to say a word because what we're working for is greater than me and you, and so we gotta press forward and we gotta conquer it. We didn't have to say a word, we just looked at each other, and when I look at you, the power of the other person, the accountability and the responsibility of what we're working for, and I respect you so much, and I know you handling your business, I'm not gonna put on you. See, the problem is, there's a lot of cats that be talking, but when it comes to their actions betray their words, and so now you got a contradiction, and a cat ain't respecting that. When you start talking about men ain't respecting that. Like they can hear you talking about it, but if you ain't living it, a cat ain't trying to hear it. And a cat's actions betray their words every day of the week. Like I asked the cat 2 weeks ago, I said, man, do you think it's possible that you can be a great football player, but you can suck as a father? Cat told me, yeah. I said, it's impossible. He said, how so? I said, you take the same mindset. I said, the same mindset you approach ball with, it's going to be the same mindset when one day you get trusted with something that's a lot greater than you, like as a father, like when you got a family, you call to be three things. You call to be a priest, a provider, and a protector. That's it. And so if you can't be trusted in a huddle, what make you think when you get a shorty, you're going to be like, I got you. When you don't feel like it. Like everybody is good until they don't feel like it. And when they don't feel like it, the actions and everything they said goes out of the window. Like I find it amazing. I find it amazing how a cat can say they want something, right? Like a cat can say, man, I'm all in with you, let's ride. They can say they want something. And then conditions and circumstance change. And the words that they once spoke means nothing to them. Like the commitment level of it. Like I was taught, commitment is staying true to what you said you was true to long after the mood that you said it in has left. Meaning on the days when we don't feel like doing what we once said we was going to do, we're going to step up and we're going to do it anyway because those are the days that build character. Like those type of days, right? Like I just want one thing from you, man. Like I know you got it. I know you can ball. I know you can run jump. I know you can do it. I know you can fill a gap, blow a cat up. I know that. But everybody don't got that mentality. Like everybody don't got that mentality when a cat drop 5 in a row and they come to work and they still got that bite and they go about their business the same way as if they would have won 5 in a row. Everybody don't got that bite. Because everybody ain't trained like cat got like light switch mentalities. They turn it on, turn it off, depending upon who they're going against. Like it's like in college when you got a little paper captain, right? And he getting on all the walk-ons. But with his boys, he ain't saying nothing. He don't want to challenge him, he don't want to say nothing. But I thought at the foundation of football, the brotherhood of it, I thought it was love. And so if I love you enough to check you and say something to you, not only because I want you to be a great football player, I want you to be a great man because I understand this. Well, who we are as people will always be more important than who we are as football players. And what I mean by that is who we are as fathers and husbands and men in general will always be more important than who we are as athletes. Like at a certain point, man, talent can only take you so far. At a certain point, character got to kick in. I'll never forget, when I watched EB. EB left chemo, and EB went to the track one day. After chemo, he went to the track, and I'm talking about running 400s and crying. Going around the track, crying after chemo.
Take a moment. Think about that. When Eric Berry got cancer, he would go to the track and run 400s after chemo. Tell you what, we're leaving too much on the table.
And he cried, and he said, I'm crying not because I'm in so much pain. I'm crying because I'm not who I used to be, but I know I'll come back one day stronger than I ain't talent. Come on, cat got his head shaved, eyebrows fell off, mustache fell off. Ain't talent. That's essence. That's who I am. Warrior. Like, that's just who he is. Get hit with cancer, whatever the case may be, on Sunday. Like, that's essence. Like, some cats just show up for a game. When it's the cat's essence, that's who they are. They catch you in the jungle. They catch you on the beach. They catch you in the facility. They gonna do you whenever they see you. That's just who cats are. And you got some cats, they ain't got that mentality like that. Like yesterday, what you did, like the thing I love about football, man, and we all know, like I play ball, y'all play ball. The thing I love about it is, like X's and O's and strategies, that's cute. They can do it. We can run a stunt. We can run a blitz. We can call a great play. But when it all boils down to what it is, mano a mano. And if you ain't got more heart than me,
No.
if you ain't been working harder than me,
No.
if you ain't sacrificed more than me,
No.
I'm gonna destroy you. And I'm not retreating. I'm not running. I don't care what they say on paper. I don't care how many games you won. I don't care if you say we outnumbered. We live by this and we die by this. We don't retreat. We don't run. Every man must search his own soul. That's why that Martin Luther King quote, that's why I said, like, you don't judge a person by where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. You judge them by where they stand in times of challenge and controversy. And if you ain't working, like when you work for something, it gives you a different type of attachment to it. The harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. That's why cats can give up so easy. They ain't got nothing invested. They ain't worked for it. They ain't sacrificed for it. Every time it get tough, they go blow weed. They ain't working for it, right? They ain't got nothing sacrificed into it. But when a cat work for something, like when a cat been sacrificed for something, well, you're gonna have a cold day in hell before you take it from them. Because they value it different. They look at, even if they drop one or two, it's a part of the process. It's evolution. Embrace the process, trust the process, but most importantly, you gotta respect the process. Talent would never supersede it. I just want one thing from you, man. In life, no matter if a cat play ball, no matter if a cat is an attorney, an artist, whatever the case may be, cats don't burn out because of what they do. Like cats don't just start saying, man, you know what? I thought I wanted to play ball, whatever. Oh, cats burn out because life makes them forget why they do it. Opposition, adversity, challenge. Never forget why you do what you do. I'm not talking about college. I'm not talking about when you first got to the league and you got drafted. I'm talking about when you was coming up in Cali, New Jersey, Indianapolis, Miami. You was in the street, or you was at the park, and your mom had to go sacrifice and work so you get your pair of cleats. I'm talking about that life, because everybody don't remember that. People don't burn out because of what they do. People burn out because life makes them forget why they do it. Character supersedes talent every day of the week. No retreat, no surrender. We live and we die by this. Every man must search his own soul. At a certain point, don't let your actions betray your words, man. That's my time. God bless y'all. Peace. Yeah.